I don't know if y'all saw this.
Uh-oh, here he goes. It's
Boston Celtics
Celtics
defeated the Miami Heat last night, 134-121.
Yeah, they're good.
Celtics were -9.5, covered easily. Interesting. It was the third straight game the Celtics have scored 130 or more points, according to a stat they showed on NBC Sports Boston last night. The last time the Celtics scored 130 or more in 3 straight games was March of 1968.
Wow.
Man.
Now, to give you some idea of how long ago that was, I looked this up. In the first of those 3 games, a 144-118 win, a rookie guard chipped in 11 points for the San Diego Rockets. That guard's name, Pat Riley.
Riles.
A rookie guard named Pat Riley chipped in 11 points for the San Diego Rockets. So the Boston Celtics ruining Pat Riley's day since March of 1968.
My favorite moment of last night's game was on the perimeter, Jason Tatum being guarded for one of Udonis Haslem's 9 minutes in the game.
Oh, that was so bad. I rarely feel pity for the Miami Heat, who I truly dislike. I felt bad. They put in Haslem, I think, to foul Tatum. And then Tatum just ran past him before he could foul him. He just blew past him so easily. That was the easiest layup of Jason Tatum's career. It made me actually feel pity for Udonis Haslem.
You are super excited about how well the Celtics are playing, correct? This seems like the most overwhelming version of this team, and it was plenty overwhelming the second half of last season.
Yeah, this is the best I've ever seen them look, at least since the original Big 3 year. They had a lot of holes in their game, every single one of which was infuriatingly exposed by Steve Kerr and Steph Curry and Draymond Green in the finals. I wouldn't say they filled all their holes. I'm not smart enough about basketball analysis to know if they filled all their holes. They filled a lot of their holes. Their second unit is so much better. They had no wings who could score last year off the bench. And so every time Tatum and Jaylen Brown went out, they just got run off the court. They now have an entire second unit that's pretty competent and can score and create and give their starters rest. Their ball handling has improved significantly, partly because they got Malcolm Brogdon and partly because Tatum just appears to have worked really hard on his dribbling on the offseason. Jaylen Brown's still iffy. I still don't trust. He had 6 turnovers last night. I don't entirely trust him. But Brogdon makes an enormous difference. And by the way, they're doing all this without Time Lord, who isn't going to come back until Christmas. It's pretty exciting to be a Celtics fan right now. Like they don't seem to have a lot of weaknesses. They're not as locked in defensively as they were last year, but they also don't have to be because they're off to a historically good start offensively.
But they will be when Williams comes back.
That's what you'd have to assume. Also, is that the defense, the interior defense, especially the teams they've lost to the Bulls twice, and they've lost to Cleveland twice in overtime. So the Bulls are the only team that's beaten them in regulation. And the Bulls wins. If you look at those box scores, it's like Vucevic has like 27 rebounds. Like they get hammered on the boards if there's a really good rebounding 4 or 5. That's where they can run into trouble because they don't have Time Lord to clean up the paint. But you would assume that when he gets back, they're giving up like 110 points a game or something, or 115 or something. You would assume that would go down significantly.
They're middle of the pack defensively in terms of points giving up per game. But when you score, to your point, when you're scoring 125 plus every single night, does it really matter? And Derek White has been exceptional for the Celtics. He has been really, really good, Mike.
He is the other guy who's taken this weird leap. Like they talked a lot in the offseason, I guess, about having him play with more confidence, and he looks way more confident. Like he's not flinching when he's open for 3. He's driving a lot more. He's getting fouled a lot more. He's taking contact. Like look, Miami last night shot 52, 45, 100. That was their shooting line, and they lost by 13. Like they Strus, Robinson, someone named Highsmith, and Gabe Vincent were like 12 of 21 from 3, and they lost by 13. Like that's the thing, is no one can match them currently offensively. So I think that there's a little less pressure on them to like play every defensive possession as intensely as they can. By the way, what is the strategy here with Kyle Lowry? Mike Ryan, what are we thinking here? Lead the league in minutes? Is that the best strategy for Kyle Lowry I don't know that that's the best strategy to employ.
I only
for
have
a 38-year-old who's not any good.
I only have so much bandwidth, and I cannot devote any more to a Kyle Lowry team playing this many minutes. I've moved on to college hoops.
Kind of has to, though, Mike. I mean,
This
Jimmy
is
Butler's
this is
hurt,
such a
guys
cop
are
out.
hurt.
I don't
This is
like-
such a cop out. I've listened to you rant
I
about
know.
the Heat and how great the Heat are for
You're
like
right.
years now.
Yeah, but
and
you're-
now the year where the Celtics are dominating, you're like, well, no, I don't have time for that.
I mean, I really don't, though. I told you what I thought about this team entering the season. I told you what I thought during parts of the season.
10 games in, you said go ahead and tank. You've given up.
No, I think they haven't addressed the roster.
You've given up.
He's mentioning all the improvements that Boston has made. That's a team that made it to the NBA Finals, and they still tweaked their roster. And
and the Heat made none.
Miami failed to do
Yeah.
so, and the plan was let's just get older together. And it's not working
Well,
out.
but
And I
Bam
think
has been great. Jimmy
Yeah.
Butler didn't play last night, and
Bam's been
Bam,
on.
they are elite
Butler's pretty
defensively
important.
still when Bam is on the court, and offensively he's gotten better.
Guys, they're missing their best player. It's not just last night. He hasn't been there that often. And so, like, the Heat are going to be fine if Jimmy Butler is fine.
I don't think there's nothing from this season that would be evidence that they're going to be fine when Jimmy Butler gets there. Jimmy Butler was there at times, and they weren't playing their best ball either. I think that they absolutely have to make a move. And if they're going to keep rolling out with the status quo, I'm going to keep devoting my attention other places. I'm not at all bullish on them. And yes, it times up with Boston being better, but this is really more of a Miami Heat thing than it is a Boston thing.
Mike, I'm interested as a Celtic fan. Are you more concerned about the Bucks or the Nets? Because I'm telling you, the Nets, if they're healthy, going to be a problem. Big problem.
I am concerned about the Bucks because they're great, and they're also playing. They're playing without Middleton, and they're right behind the Celtics. So I think they're the other great team in the East. But this is the problem. I texted your friend Amin Al Hassan last night out of frustration in the first half because the Heat run one play. Bam brings the ball up. They run a high pick and roll for Hero or Max Strus, and then that person either takes a three, drives, and kicks, or hits a floater. And I was losing my mind because they were running that play over and over and over again. And then on defense, they were running that stupid, petty college zone thing that they do. And the Celtics momentarily, for some reason, forgot how to attack a zone in the NBA.
You hate
and
that
it was working. It was like 48-48. And I was furiously texting Amin and saying, explain to me what's going on in this game. Please, I beg you. I can't take this anymore. And then I had another realization, which is if I care this much about a regular season NBA game in November, I'm going to have a heart attack and die. And I need to cool it. So I'm officially announcing that I'm cooling it a little on worrying about the Nets and worrying about the Heat and worrying about the Bucks. I'm just going to try to enjoy the NBA season at least until April, and then I will go back into the heart attack zone that I was in last night in the first half.